I need all your money. Give me all your money. Yeah, so Saturday Rosehill first, then I'll go through Cup week from Melbourne Cup. I'll just go through the features, but watch some replays of those races. What's the race you want me to look at? Via the Sit Sprint Fish. Ramwick's a 4. It was closer to a, we'll call it a 3. Probably on the better side of a 3. But, not fair, but relatively fair for Rosehill. You could make a little bit of ground. The last winner's come off a slow tempo. Obviously, there was some favours there. Vivier came from last up the fence. Who else? Most of the winners sat pretty close to the speed, but there weren't too many fast tempos. Lascare sat on a fast speed and won. Slow tempo in Budgie Smuggler Tunes race, Arctic Glamour's race, Weeping Woman's race, and the last. So, there wasn't a lot of pressure in a lot of the races either. Zambardo, that's it. Zambardo. I actually just checked about. I was to see whether they've given it a new rating yet. They haven't. I'll show a few things where it's worthwhile having a look, but I'll just get through most of these races that aren't too exciting. Starman, whatever. You must have got excited when it led, Paul. I didn't think you'd ever see Starman lead a race. It should have run a nice 8th and it led and ran second. This was a great ride. I joked that I wanted to metaphorically stab Ben Looker the day before. He put in a couple of absolute shockers at Lismore or Armadale or somewhere, was it? Might have been where, I don't even know where it was. I've mentally blanked it out. And then from an awkward draw here, he comes out and rides this thing like George Moore Lunite. When it landed in the 1-1, it was nearly race over, especially when Social Circle bombed the start. So very good effort from Social Circle from where it ended up in the run. Ran the 4th fastest 800 to 200 of the day. Obviously not a horse that's suited out the back and doing what it had to do. They went about 2.5 above to the 8 and the 6, and then came home about 2.5 below. So, that's been amended from the interim times that I had. It was a lot quicker tempo than that, so it's a lot closer to an even tempo, which makes it an even better effort from Social Circle. Interesting that the times have been amended there. Very strange. Anyhow, Madrina was rock solid, had the back of Lunite in the run. Obviously suited in this grade. This is a pretty strong highway. So, Madrina should be able to pick up a race like this. You won't run into Social Circle and Lunite all that often. De Forza was okay sitting outside the speed, but it wasn't as strong, obviously, as I said. And Favour the Bold just looks like it's looking for a mile to me. Completely unsuited coming back in distance here, and probably a Ramwick horse. Big, strong type. Looks a lovely horse. Favour the Bold, but just wasn't suited in this race at all. Mate. What? Thankfully, Simmers. Amaya, it was a very good start to Multi Madness Lunite. It set us up for a good day. God bless Lunite. Silly price it was. He's a quality trainer, Snowden. He's just going to be very profitable following him in his area and in these sorts of races, you would think. Race 2, not a very exciting race here. Just checking the times compared to what I got. Again, though, they're a lot slower than what I've got written down. So nowhere near as fast a tempo here, and a pretty steady race. Oakfield Jupiter's race, pretty steady. It sat 3 wide with cover and was a solid effort again. Both its wins back have been good. It was a good effort to win over 1200 first up, so not surprising that it's backed it up with another rock solid performance. Rolling Magic was slightly held up, but I think that's about as good as it goes. Makes more sense now that Satnus sat behind leader and went okay. Alabama State was just a train wreck. Dragged right out from the outside draw. I'm not going to knock that. They'll have a horse to go round again, but probably should have been in the finish. Was suited this sort of race. It just obviously drew horrible. Clear Proof was better this time around. Keen in the run, but I'm still not sold that it's a high-quality horse. It looked like it was going to be a pretty good horse early in its life. Clear Proof. Norton Road pulled up with laceration and Must Trial, Amaretto Bow, and Super Nui both sort of sat up on speed, and Artful Persuasion sat wide, no cover. So sort of forgives there. I don't know what the heck went on with Motor Scarfo. Landed in a perfect spot and no abnormalities found. And the bottom one, Kirkup, blinkers came loose in the run. You don't see that very often. A complete forgive. Apparently the horse couldn't see for a lot of the race. I think this is a very steady midway. The winner's, a solid horse, but I don't think there's huge improvement there. It's not going to get to great heights, but it's definitely, slightly better than midway. Could pick up a Wednesday or an off-season Saturday for sure. And the rest are all pretty well shown up. He did. Zach got it as a pickup ride. Yeah. Agree. Quality race, the highway. Agree. Punch through these ones. Again, we'll check the time here. So this one hasn't improved. Putrid 2,400 metre race, this one. They went out 13 below to the 800, 16 below to the 600. Luckily, Dylan got on his bike, and because this horse just needs all sorts of winding up, and it got there. They've come home below standard off the back of sort of 16 below to the 600 metre mark. So this race is very poor on paper. The only saving grace for the winner is I think it would be better suited in a faster run race, and obviously wet track as well. Coming off a wet track run, not keen to be too negative towards the winner here, but just be very wary that this is a very, very steady race on paper. Stinging the Tail's a horse that is probably suited by a slow tempo, even though it got back in the race. It's a horse that's probably an 1,800 metre, 1,900 metre horse with a decent turn of foot. And so I'd be, wary of it and claim the crown sat outside the leader in a walking speed. So it sort of kicked on. I think it's a bit of a nothing race, but be very wary of following horses out of it with any sort of confidence. Agree, Todd? Yeah, they just absolutely crawled. It's not a real 2,400 metre race, that's for sure. And the win is just tough. And they really didn't do anything, any of them. Like Stinging the Tails come on the 41st best last 200, like 49th last 600. It's just horrible race. Magic time, eyes crying, verify. We'll get there. Would you back at that? It would be sure the market better horses. No, I wouldn't back it, Paul, unless it went to a wet track and a fast tempo race. Then the market will take into account how bad this race was. So you'll probably get a decent price if it gets things to suit, but you'd be demanding of that. If it goes to a similar race or it steps up in grade, you'd be dead set taking it on for sure. Race 4, the Mighty Tune, God bless it, $15. The tab going up. This horse trialled like a rocket, and I don't know whether Tom Sherry's had a grease and oil change in recent times, but he is riding out of his skin, and it doesn't look a fluke. I don't know what to do. I'm starting to take Tom Sherry a lot more seriously. He's actually, making a lot of good decisions, looking great on them. It's just it's a bit freaky, but it is what it is. So a bit like trainers, when jockeys are in form, you got to keep monitoring them, and Tom Sherry's doing a great job. So this horse just camped right behind the speed. Again, got to check the time. So you see, again, these times are way out. It's crazy. Hang on. Yeah. These times are way out. So I had it like 1.7 and around even time to the 600. Now they're -4, -2.6. Very interesting. And then the last 600 came home a little bit quicker. So it did look like that visually. It was a slow tempo and they ripped home. So it does make more sense. What have we got here? Tune sort of ran a really slick 8 to the 4 and then 8 to the 2 and then peaked late. So I think there's more improvement in Tune. Got a little bit keen in the run, sort of took an inside run, sprinted and put the race away really quickly. It was a really professional win. I think there's more wins in stall, even though this race doesn't look super strong on paper. I think it isn't a bad race. Midnight Dynamite definitely led, controlled, had every chance. State Shady Thinker. It was interesting, actually. I'll show that. How do we show this? What race? I did like this at the start. Old Zachy said not today to Nash. What angle does this give us? These two here, they just start fighting each other. I thought it was pretty funny. Old Bartoff and Shady Thinker. Nash has tried to put him to the fence and he wasn't having anything of it. And then there was sort of a three-quarter gap there, which you can see. And look, you can see Zach sort of kicking up and Nash getting the shits. Look at him still trying to push into that gap, and Zach just sort of drove up enough to hold him out, you know, which is what he should do. It's not as if he sort of hammered the horse to do it, but there was a three-quarter gap there, and that certainly hurt Shady Thinker's chances in the race. It did a good job, sort of kept coming to the line. Bartoff was fine as well. I think you sort of treat them as glorified barrier trials. Damien lobbed in the 1-1. It was good first up, I thought, and Dashing Rupert sort of sat outside the leader. Midnight Dynamite was found out, which I wasn't surprised about. It just got its absolute birthday, which we talked about last time. And, yeah, great opportunity to bet around it here. So, luckily, the right horse won in tuned. Just Too Fly was dragged out and, you know, didn't do a lot, but probably, again, pretty forgiving. Ran a couple of decent sections between the 8 and the 4. And the 6 and the 4 then sort of knocked up, but it just sort of was never in the race, and Invaders In was up there to late too. So I'd be treating this as a barrier trial for those horses. The winner's definitely come back in good shape and can go on. I think its trial was excellent and has a bit more to give. I think this horse tuned. I think it's a decent horse. What was going through my mind when Chaelwolf got up? I was cheering, mate. I was happy as a pig in mud. But I did laugh. Yeah, they went a bit nuts here. So these times, again, they've slowed down, but they went quick here. They went about 13 above to the 8 and then 12 above, so they slowed down only slowly, so it's slightly between the 8 and the 6, and they've come home still not that slow, about 3 lengths below. So this is a very fast time. Can happen in these races, but Lusky is completely airborne. Let's see now what the sections look like now that they've sort of been amended. This Dirty Horse Bestower will drive you crazy. He wasn't really given its chance, but did have a huge tempo assistance. So, you know, it's not going to get a much stronger pace and allow it to run on than what it is. Got here, Hurstville's Grab, as you sort of is mentioning there, is definitely wide, no cover, and then outside leader. So I had to work really hard and gave full cover to Lusky. So a complete forgive to Hurstville's Grab. Brave Call was terrible, I thought. Had every possible chance and was quite plain. Existential Bob loomed. It was only second up and peak, so I think be forgiving of Existential Bob. It could probably duck back to a Wednesday race over 1,900 metres or something and be very hard to beat Existential Bob next time out. And Forecaster and Adolphus just blew each other up on speed, and Adolphus pulled up lane. I don't even know why it was in the race, to be fair. So, yeah, they just went way too quick in front Forecaster, Adolphus, and Hurstville's Grab was sort of forced into that spot and a complete forgive. But Lusky is just flying, wet, dry, up on speed. Don't know how long it can continue to maintain this form, but it's going very well. Bestow is a nightmare just due to its pattern. Sucked me in again here. But back to... Brosnan sort of snuck up on the fence, pace assisted, and that's as good as he can go. Brosnan, very hard horse to catch, needs everything to go his way. I do not like Rosehill. The fence goes off as soon as it rains. As soon as it rains. But yeah, those horses sort of take turns horses, but it's just, yeah, definitely definitely flying the winner. My hopes and dreams rested on this little 2-year-old. Very well placed here, Revengeance, as in a lot of horses either with limited ability or limited experience, ridden perfectly, and again, times adjusted here. So they went about a length above to the 8 and the 6. Again, it makes sense visually. So I'm trusting what's going on here. And they came home about even time for, you know, sort of about a length above average for this grade. Just a pure professional, this horse, and only going to continue to improve for mine and only going to continue to get stronger. So I think this horse is I'm not saying it's a Golden Slipper winner right now, but it's definitely a horse that has got very good ability and finds the line. He's learning more and more. He was far more professional this time. He did everything Josh asked him to do when he asked him to do it, and that's certainly all you can ask for. Spicy Miss was excellent, one that sort of was found in the parade by some good judges and did look the part from what I saw. Also sat wide and absolutely smashed the rest of them. Plagiarism was good in front and had its chance after it sort of was used up to lead and set that even tempo, as we were sort of saying, slightly above even, and stuck on, and they smashed the rest. Thrill Hunter was disappointing. Next episode, 2 out of 5 lame, so forgivable for it. And the rest were pretty steady. But yeah, I think 1 and 2 here can definitely go on to nicer races after Christmas for sure. Defenseman, it needs to find a lot. Let me have another look at it.
$1 million golden gift for the 2-year-olds. The lights on. Plagiarism position. A gap to Threesome, Far Col. And they're racing. Threesome was lasting forward. Rosehill Hunter.
Jumped all right, landed in a good spot. He's a little bit green and keen. Had to come 3 wide. Had the back of Spicy Miss. Spicy Miss put 5 lengths on it. Yeah, it needs a grease and oil change, defence man. I'd say it probably needs to improve, 5 to 10 lengths to be dangerous. Yeah, and that's like when it sounds silly, 5 to 10 lengths, but that's in 2-year-old ability. You know what I mean? They grow up pretty quick. Anything can happen, but it does need to find a lot, because that first race was horrific, very poor race, and then Saturday, obviously, it's been gapped after. It didn't have. Yeah, it's definitely got to find a lot. But that race was okay. Holy shit. Rosehill is the new old Moonee Valley. It's not that bad at all. It's nowhere near, like, some of the tracks I've seen in the last couple of weeks, my God, especially doing Sundays, like, if you're one off the fence at some of these tracks, you're gone. And this is Melbourne and Sydney. Holy cow. Feels like I've cut my throat. I'm dirty with myself here. Yeah, we're struggling, TX. We're struggling, but we're doing what we can in life. I'm dirty with myself here, rather than like this race was horrific on paper. Two favourites that were coming off like complete failures in my opinion last start. Obviously Miss Rombini had that little setback but before last start, and then raced really keen. They tried to ride it with cover, then it draws awkwardly here. Miraval Rose sort of lead walked and got gapped its last start as well. So 2 6 to 4 chances that looked like they had full control of this race again. So it was really hard to completely sort of put a line through them, but you went looking desperately for something to beat them. Snowy May was always going to get a nice run, but it's just a horse. And this Arctic Glamour, I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to see it trial half decent, do anything. And this was its trial.
Ready.
And this was out without blinkers. Like, they threw blinkers on it, and usually to me, when they throw blinkers on a horse first up, it's either ready to go, like it's airborne, and they're just going to throw that, like they're throwing it, they're having a shot at the title, or it's going so questionably that they're throwing the blinkers on it, hoping to get a result. And sort of when you go looking at these trials, all you want to do is try and work that out. So if the horse is trialing well without the blinkers, and then they're going to put them on, you're like, okay, here we go. But she's out here, sort of wide. They didn't go quick in this trial. And he actually puts her under pressure, and she just goes into reverse late here in a sec. Like, she's not traveling, he's not easing her down. And she normally a pretty sharp trialer. Like, it's not as if it's dropped out and it looks like it's going to do, but look at it. It definitely doesn't scream to you like that a horse that's ready to go first up. And normally I would try and find out how a horse is going, but it did nothing. So yeah, we'll put that down. It's actually first trial was pretty good. So a very good ride again from Tom Sherry, jammed it up on speed. They walked here, went 4 lengths below to the 8, 6 lengths below to the 600. So very uncompetitive race. Miraval Rose definitely very plain. You'd assume it goes for a spell because it looked well. So you think it goes for a spell. Bohemia went like a rocket again, but that horrible racing pattern just catching up to her in this grade. Obviously didn't get tempo to suit as well. She's run the sort of 5th fastest last 200, 6th fastest last 400 of the day. And to run second, the winner's done a good job. It's the second strongest horse in the race late, first up after sitting outside the leader. But as we've sort of mentioned, this is not a great race. They did sprint home okay off the back of a slow speed, so it's not terrible. But yeah, the other one, poor old I don't know his name, Resolute Racing. Geez, he's had a couple of yearlings. $3-4 million yearlings look pretty steady, and now Pounce has gone like a crab here after sitting third the fence. So Mr. Waller will be desperate to win a race for him somewhere in the near future, but at the moment really struggling. But yeah, I think Snowy May, what you see is what you get. That's as good as it can go. That's as good as Bohemia can go. To me, I'd love to see Bohemia go down the straight. I think they've missed a boat there. I think there would have been a mare's race for her down the straight that she could have been super competitive in. To me, she just screams like a straight horse. Arctic Glamour, too good. Well done to them, 50-1. Heard a story that the owners had a big crack at Arctic Glamour on track. They were up there at a what's it called, a punters club weekend at Eagle Farm, and the tab couldn't pay them. So you always love to hear those stories. I think Miss Rumbini's Cactus. I think the horse we saw first and second up is not the horse we've seen second and third and fourth up. The ride was terrible. But give it no winning chance, but the horse still went terribly. So, yeah, she's definitely, whatever that issue was where she had the elevated blood count and, maybe she had a little virus or something, she's definitely not been the same horse. She doesn't settle in a run, and she's definitely not as tractable. So I would assume that they put her out now, and, yeah, I'd treat the last 2 runs as complete forgives for Miss Rumbini. Same for Miraval Rose. Yeah, Paul, that was extraordinarily expensive. I needed either horse to win that race. She's run in Sydney before. Actually, I think she hasn't. I think she'd run in Sydney before, but not ran well. She ran in a first up, she ran on a heavy track, got beat 4 lengths at Randwick. She ran up in Brisbane and she wasn't the same horse there either. So, yeah, there is some chance that she's better the other way as well. It's a good point, David. It's a good point. It was another reason why she was a bit of a risk on Saturday, and very easy to say in hindsight, but obviously, wasn't rocket science before the race either. It was just trying to find the winner was the hard part. And if you found Arctic Glamour, you got 50s. The time-honoured 5 Diamonds, that was a Group 2 for $500,000. My God. This is a listed race for $2 million. If anyone can explain to me why we need a 5-year-old 1,800-metre listed race for $2 million, yeah, please send that through. Again, these times, yeah, they must have been out across the board. Daniel, it got beat a neck at $10. It got beat a neck at $10. I just found it as value. I still marked it $5 or $5.50 or something like that. I think I was pretty right. Just wasn't right about the winner. This race, they went out, in very even time, ramped it up a little bit from the 8 to the 6, and they've come home about 5 lengths above. So Vivier's effort to win from the back was astronomical. It's run the second fastest, 800, 600, fastest last 400 of the day to come up the inside and win. Militarized was just saying run the third fastest, 8, 6, 4, and 2 of the day and gone down. So, yeah, huge effort from Vivier. I didn't see it doing that. Actually got a bit keen in the run back on the inside. So, yeah, I didn't see it doing what it did here. Transatlantic was awesome, sitting up outside the leader. I thought the speed was a lot faster sort of throughout, which would have made its effort even better, but that was more controlled speed in a sprint home. So it's still huge effort outside lead. Rise at Dawn had its chance out in front. Looks like it set an even tempo. I was surprised they rode Shadizi so close. Poor old Bullet Point just got completely out sprinted, and I don't know what Fukubana was doing in the race, but it pulled up 1 out of 5 lane. Berry went too early. I don't know how he went. He couldn't have gone too early because the leader didn't take him far enough. Geez, he's pretty harsh to say. He's only at the front at the 300 metre mark, and the leader's dropped off. If anything, he didn't go early enough off a slow tempo, I'd say, and he sort of allowed him to catch up. But because he wasn't weak on the line, I'd nearly argue that it was probably the other way around. That he cuddled it a bit too far. But I think he's, you know, it's clutching at straws, as in either way, he's sort of given it its chance. And Millet tries jammed me, the old 4-day backup. Oh, absolutely. It went huge, but it's come from last off a slow tempo over 1,800 metres for the first time and rounded them up, you know. Like it's won like a probably should have been a 2-to-1 chance in the race, not an 8-to-1 chance or whatever it was. So, you know, you definitely couldn't knock. Like, it's hard to say that, for argument's sake, Militarize was unlucky, even though it's covered more ground slightly. You would say the right horse won the race. There's not much between the two, that's for sure. But if they go a little bit quicker, Vivier, in argument, it should win easier. Yeah, you know, like it's funny. We've been a bit nasty towards race riding in town recently, and it shows you what happens when you go back to your right grade and ride some winners, or go back in grade. Let's just not, and then you know, build your confidence up a little bit, because you know he didn't look like he was going to scare the judges box for a long time, Reece Jones, and then he's come back and won a $2 million race. So good luck to him. Good luck to him. No. Is that the only... Where did I write something? I wrote something somewhere. Must have been on Thursday or something. 2 to go. Weeping Woman race. I will show this out of spite. No, I won't. Will I? No. They go very slow here, and I'm assuming if the times are all out at the start, they've gone even slower. So they've gone about 7 lengths below to the 800, slowed down even more between the 8 and the 6 to 7.5, and zipped home here. I did laugh, and Paul, the king of stewards reports, would have noticed that there was a comment. Old Tyler said that, you know, where's this here? I did laugh here. Where is it? We'll make it bigger. Make it bigger. Taxation began awkwardly, resulting in the rider becoming unbalanced. Reported that taxation became quite stirred up. Intention was to ride in a more forward position. However, the filly began awkwardly, which required him to settle near the rear. He added that taxation then failed to give any response to his riding in the straight and raced flat. Post-veterinary examination did not reveal blah, blah, blah. Let us just examine this a little bit. Because why not?
For a break. It's been a good betting race. Stand
So
by.
it does miss the start. It does miss the start a little bit for sure. But then, in keeping in mind the leaders are going 7 lengths below standard, so they're going very slow in front. And this horse here, so he's still restraining the horse. So they're going slow. And he's still, look at him, restraining the horse, like literally holding the horse back. Like it could have easily been in a sort of midfield position, and he's still restraining the horse. So we get here, and he's still restraining the horse. So we're getting to the 600 metre mark, which is 500 metres into the race, and he's still going backwards to try and find cover, while these horses here are going 7 lengths below standard. So he's giving up another 8 lengths, and he's still trying to find cover on it, coming to the 500 metre mark. Does my head in reading that. Anyway, there's my whinge. The other whinge is that he said the horse didn't respond to his riding and did nothing and raced flat, when it actually ran the fastest 800, the 200 or something crazy of the day. It ran sorry, 600 to the 200 of the day. It ran the third fastest and the fastest 6 to the 4 of the day. So it's actually sprinted for 400 metres as fast as anything has on the day to try and get within that far. And then because it's just obviously not a horse that, it's only its first prep, it didn't get flat. It got tired. It got tired because he reverse parked it for the first 800 metres and then set it an impossible task. And that's the most times. Yeah. I agree, David. I agree with everything you're saying there. Yeah, I think he nearly went too slow on Weeping Woman. She was very strong through the line. Spirit of Wealth's an interesting one. Obviously got the earmuffs on, handed the race last start. They decided to take a sit this time. The earmuffs seem to work as in it's hit the line, really strongly. So, maybe in the future that'll be a good thing for Spirit of Wealth in it when it finds a race with a bit more speed and can race in a similar fashion. It looks like it's working. Strata Verena set outside leader and sort of tried to jam it up. Weeping Woman, it was a little bit weak late. It was probably disappointing, even though it was outside leader. Maybe a pass mark. Silver Wedding, back off that slow tempo, but still just a pass mark. I don't think it's any world beater. Silver Wedding. Going to be very forgiving of taxation. I think, I don't think it'll have many more runs this prep anyway, but I think it'll make a horse in time taxation. Couples Retreat, every possible chance. Kimberly Secret, every chance, but does need a faster speed. Kimberly Secret's more of a flowing one-paced fast horse. And Weeping Woman's definitely a horse that can go on in similar grade. Any time that Weeping Woman is able to dictate the speed and can kick off it. So it's a Rosehill specialist dominating up on speed. It's going to run well, but it's definitely returned in good fashion. Weeping Woman, I don't think it's got any high, huge ceiling, but definitely, the right horse in the right race. It did, David. It did. Yeah, I actually thought I was quite keen on it, but the stable sort of wouldn't hear of it. Beating home stable mate. The last slow tempo, even slower. So they've gone 6 lengths below to the 8 and the 6 here, and then come home about 6 above. So very similar tempo to the previous race. And the winner's just launched off the back of it. I went back and watched some replays. Like it got gapped by Surf and Bird the other day. It went quite well a couple of times in its last preparation, but didn't show any signs to me of doing anything like this. Obviously we've got Frosty Girl to talk about. Morjude was going for a spell, was very disappointing. Frontex was disappointing after landing in a good spot. Probably got a little bit keen, but still very strange tactics on, what's it called? Formal display to take a sit, but didn't quite show as much speed as it had. We'll show the straight. I don't think he did a lot wrong. I joke that he should be deported after the race, but I don't think he did a lot wrong. They've gone so slow. The gaps didn't open up. He got stuck behind. At this point, he's behind a horse that's quite short in the market, isn't it? Formal display. So it's $10. And then he's got sort of a horse that's $12 or something, and then the favourite outside it. So he thinks that these horses are going to take him somewhere. I don't know where else he's going to go. And he's dead set zip fastened the whole time. There's literally no gap. Morjude's going well enough to sort of hold him in there, even though they're just all sprinting home so fast. And then by the time the gap opens up, she's still going well enough to take it. And then after the line, she's obviously there. The winner's come from 3-4 lengths behind it and beaten it. So, I think it was just very unlucky for poor old Jow. He doesn't have much luck out here in comparison to wherever else he rides in the world. Starman every chance on speed. The winner was good. It's run the fastest last 800, 600, 200 of the day. So it wasn't easy to run on from back and wide. It's done it pretty easy. Altivo was a pass mark first up. I think it was first up, wasn't it? Just a complete barrier trial. Pretty similar tactics to normal. So it was off 749 days, Altivo. So, it's put in a pretty good run first up off that sort of break. And that was that. Field, Starman Field. Paul loves Starman. Paul owns shares in Starman. Yeah, they'll change the tactics. Well, I think it got left in front, Jack. I don't think anyone thought it was going to lead. It's been up the whole time, Starman. All right. I'll go to... We'll have a quick look at the Melbourne Cup, I guess. Not much to look at, I didn't think. Pretty nothing race. Tempo-wise, what do we got? Eight lengths above to the 800. Obviously, most of that was in the mid-race move from Land Legend. Last section, 10 lengths below. So, yeah, visually, obviously, this horse looked like it burst through the line, but the time's nothing special. The track was sort of between a 5 and a 6. No. Actually, I would have watched the next race, Burma Star, too, off the back of this, but... You're very loud. Shut up. Obviously, nothing too, not really worth. I did think, geez, what does he get? 18 meetings for jamming this grey horse in here. These penalties they get for these big races are very tough. I didn't think he didn't do a huge amount of damage to Presage Nocturne, I didn't think. Everyone kind of got their chance, I think. Poor old Land Legend out here. Valiant King's the one who, what's it called? Valiant, whatever it's called. Should know its name. Valiant King, wasn't it? It's the one that gets stuck 3 wide, no cover when Land Legend takes off. It's probably the one horse in the race with a bit of an excuse, sort of get caught wide with no cover. Here he comes, the mighty Land Legend. So the winner's back in here, isn't it? I couldn't find huge excuses for too many out the back. I know they've sort of had to come from wide, our Riffer out, and there was just nothing ran on. The horses that landed in the good spots just whacked away a little bit. It was a pretty average race, I think. Our Riffer was dead set given none. This is it sort of back here. I just hope this horse comes back next time in and becomes a weight for age horse because we desperately need it. And, you know, it still ran the 8 fastest last 800 of the day. The next closest was 26 fastest, which is our Riffer, and then like top 50s after that. So clearly the fastest last 800 of the race and, you know, very dominant. But I couldn't find huge excuses apart from our Riffer. I didn't think there were too many excuses back in the pack for horses that should have finished too much closer. I want to look at, what was the other race I want to look at? The one after it, because there's horses in it, the Springtime Stakes. I see these horses going around likely in one of a few races.
Ready to run.
So route. 2 route.
Just
Bouncing about a little, they're racing Ludlam away fairly. Beginning well was Pictor.
5 second style win, yeah. Burma Star. Yeah, this is the... So this race, they go... What do they go? They go pretty quick here and come home pretty slow. The race overall doesn't look that flash, but nothing horrible. But I just noticed that a few horses out of this race might be going around. Pictor, Ripley, I don't know about Ripley, but I saw Burma Star and Pictor in a few noms.
With also Sir Micah and also on the inside Miss Celine. Speed from Bakash.
I think it was just given every chance, wasn't I? I haven't watched the replay of this personally. I just wanted to have a look. So you actually get shuffled right back, Burma Star, and it's got the mighty Marrera on it. Hard to tell which one Pictor is. I don't even know which one Pictor is. Pictor was number 13, so Pictor's the one in the middle here. Burma Star's back in the blue. How many have they got in this race? Hidden Achievement, Pictor, Tagline, Grand Prairie. They got 4 in the race. I was interested to see what this horse did down the outside, Hidden Achievement. sort of bumping a little bit with Hidden Achievement to get out. So it's a pretty good effort, but it is pace assisted out the back.
Ripley's chasing the outside. They were followed by Bakashu battles on with Pictor and Burma Star right down the centre of the track. It's Ripley in front with about 50 metres to go. Coming at it is Burma Star on the outside and Tagline between them. Tagline Burma Star. Burma Star, I reckon. It's close, but Burma Star centre of the track. It's Ripley in
It went terrible Hidden Achievement. What's his horse? Was given none. It did flat. It was flat late and it's out wide. Isn't this a weird ride? Who rode this? John Allen. Kaleo. So it's back wide pulling, then he pulls it back in behind them on the fence and he gets held up and doesn't get a run till late. Weird ride. Thing poked up all right. What was it? Number 10. Dulek. Yeah, I'm not sure that race is anything flash. God bless Strictly Business. We'll get there, Jane. We'll get there in a sec. Five Yulons. Oh, Vapor for luck. We'll get there in a second. Is there nothing else to look at there? Dance the Boom. That race was weird. They went so slow and did nothing. The leaders just went terrible in that. And then Persian Spirit went like a rocket in the last. Thursday. Bop. Thursday. What? Last Thursday. Not this Thursday. All right. Why are you not to work? Another lovely glitch with this website that it goes October. You got to go backward, forward, sideward. Here we go. Thursday. Oh, Tuesday. Hang on. I want to look at these races. I'm missing. We're jumping everywhere. I'll do the Oaks. We'll do the Oaks meeting first, then I'll go to the other meeting. The big dance meeting, the big barn dance meeting, whatever the heck it was called. I did think this horse went well.
New Endeavour goes in.
I thought New Endeavour went well here.
Ready and away they go. New Endeavour sticks back from the outside gate.
Just dragged out of the race early, New Endeavour. They went very slow here. Sort of 6 lengths below to the 8, 4 lengths below to the 4, and then came home above standard. So they've come about 4 lengths above the last 800. So dragged back, sort of 3 wide with cover last. New Endeavour first up from a spell. Apulia lands in a good spot. Detonator Jack was obviously very good up the fence, a bit like the old Vivier run. Back off a slow tempo and ran very well. But I definitely think this horse will be ready to go next time around. New Endeavour. And jet through to the end. So this is it down the outside here in the blue and the yellow.
Whacking on Cartoon Graveyard and Insuto presenting down the centre of the track at the 250.
A horse that can definitely race a lot closer and quicken off it. It's definitely not a back-marking run-on horse off a slow tempo. It's definitely more of an even on-speed horse, sort of camp just behind and accelerate. So I thought it went really well first up. I think it had 62 or something there too. Winners are Gold Bang Bang 1-2. Poison Chalice definitely needs further. In judo, every possible chance. The on-speed horses, every chance. Regal Asmon was all right too. yeah, it's flying. They have done a good job. It's always been, yeah, good horse, Apulia, but yeah, exactly what you're saying. To go bang, bang, first up, second up, it was a big price. I don't know, peanut on it, but won't bother with Gurite. We'll show the roses. I tell you what, this race is I reckon this race will throw up more winners than any race in the carnival. I think more winners will come out of this race than any other race in the carnival. Obviously a big field, but
set for the charge and they're racing. Elzaro away with them.
Serious question, where does Jason Collett rank amongst your top 10 premium jockeys? He's definitely in the top 10. If you give him good instructions, he's in the top 5. If you leave him to his own devices, he's in the top 700. All right. There's quite a few horses here that are interesting going forward. Let us get our sheet. Miss Free Love, very, very good on the inside. Definitely a short course horse, 1,100 metres, 1,000. Think it would have nearly won if it drew the outside. Acacia obviously cops interference. The winner's very good. Slow tempo here. They go, what do they go? 4.3 below to the 800, 5 lengths below to the 600, then come home 5 above. So extremely controlled speed. Surfs Up a complete forgive, one of the weirder rides of the carnival. I thought Pure Passion's a complete forgive. Vain Girl not leading, taking a sit was the stupidest decision I've seen in the carnival, potentially. Trey Magnifique a forgive and Invincible Woman a complete forgive. Naifa was up on speed, so, you know, it was in the right spot, but coming off a maiden, I thought it was very good. And Inkaruna's a nightmare. But I think there's as I said, like, I'm not joking with that Verify. I think he's a very, very, very good jockey. He's just tactically tricky to catch. This looks like a bowling alley. Look at this, the old Flying V. So Surf's Up is one of the weirder rides here. So Surf's Up's back on the inside here in the Ingham colours. The winner's obviously on the outside. Keisha, Miss Free Love back towards the inside. Vain Girl takes a sit behind Cantiamo and Naifa or whatever it's called. This is Invincible Woman back in here. This horse was unlucky. Pure Passion. And also so J-Mac's weird. He's sort of gone, he's half missed it, then he goes back to the inside, then he tracks towards the outside in a second here on the Ingham horse. And yeah, it kind of looked like he comes here, he literally comes across the back of their heels like he's going to try and track towards the outside. Then he decides, no, I'm not going to do that. He looks like he could have sort of got the back of Inkaruna. Obviously would have had Point Barrow coming wider and had to, but that would have been, yeah, it seemed like a better decision. Like, I don't know where he thinks he's going to go here. Looks like Selly's no more gaps back towards the inside, but he makes the decision to go back in here. I don't know where he was trying to go, but anyway, it's obviously a very slow run race and you know, very difficult to make the right decision there, and who knows, he may never have got a run anyway. But yeah, like a slow sit sprint getting to the right part of the track was right up this horse's alley. I think it's a very talented horse, but that was a wet dream if you're on it. You know, to go that slow, allow it into the race without having to use its turn of foot and then being able to be, you know, in line with them basically when it could let down was always going to be very hard to hold out. Acacia obviously very unlucky. Miss Free Love runs surprisingly the fastest, second fastest last 200 of the day back towards the inside. I think this horse is a very, very, very good horse, Surf's Up. I think the winner is as well, but I think this horse is a very, very good horse, Surf's Up. And I think there's a lot of fillies in this race that are going to make decent horses. There's just so many forgives. As you sort of said, like these horses back here, Trey Magnifique, Pure Passion, is it? What's this horse? Invincible Woman's back here, runs the 10th fastest last 400 of the day and never gets a crack at him in the purple with the white. So I think it's a huge forgive in the race. We've already spoken about half of them, but yeah, I'd be amazed if a million winners didn't come out of this race. I think Point Barrow's well, she could definitely improve mentally and attractively. She's definitely gone to another level its last two starts. Even last start sort of accelerated so quick it nearly fell off. He nearly fell off it, but yeah, will be interesting. Will be interesting where all these horses end up. But back to us here. Peloton race. Part of the track. Yeah. It didn't like being challenged. What does that mean, mate? I'm sure what that means. It went like a rock. It's run the third fastest last 200 of the day and never really got clear. So they obviously walked. You're going to run fast sections. These horses are very fast sprinters. But they both came out of that Vain Girl race last start where they both went like rockets. So I don't think there's much between the winner and Surfs Up. And yeah, I just think that they're a decent bunch of 3-year-old fillies. It was probably one of the hardest or more exciting races to look at from a future perspective, I think, anyway. The Oaks.
For the Crown Oaks.
This was interesting. They just went way too fast here. They went 14 lengths above to the 800. Then they slowed right down between the 8 and the 6, which really allowed those back markers into the race. And then they do run fast time. So the winner's effort is strong, even though it's heavily pace assisted. It goes like a rocket. Strictly business, sort of head and shoulders fastest late sections. I thought After Summer was very good and sort of lands in a spot somewhere closer to the speed, then gets shuffled back when the speed comes out and then has to pick up again late. So I thought its effort was good. This is After Summer here. So it lands in a nice enough spot, but a lot closer to the speed than the winner does. So I think its effort was sneaky good After Summer. The hardest thing to sort of line up with all these fillies is they're all coming out of these bullshit slow run crap races, and now they've gone into a real race here, and you know we've seen what their real substance is over this sort of trip. Obviously got a good feelings, not a bad horse, talented filly. Maybe she's a miler, maybe she's a 1400 metre horse. She was completely found out at the trip with this hectic tempo, and yeah, look, this is After Summer. He's actually pulling back in here, so I think there's some good merit to this horse. I think it's probably the big improver. Sort of, if we're talking, I don't know, if you're talking about backing a horse in the AJC Oaks in the autumn, this horse is obviously going to be exponentially bigger price than the winner. Let me just check that now. They'd be betting on the Oaks. And the winner's obviously a rocket, only having its third start. Caulfield Cups, Cox Plates, they don't bet on the Oaks. Don't be silly, John.
Plenty of air now.
But yeah, I think it's definitely a horse to follow in the future. Pretty good ride on Pearls, I think. Sort of took off at the right time when the pace came out of the race. Very solid effort, but I think, you know, it's gone as good as it can possibly go. Did make a long run, but I think it's just a bit of a battle. I don't think it's got the upside that the winner does, and even this After Summer. So what I was trying to say is here, it sort of gets dragged back nearly to last year After Summer. It does get a decent enough room run through after all this held up crap.
Momentarily hit the front. Here's Get a Good Feeling, and the Pearls on the outside, the two favourites joining in now. And at the three.
If you don't love this horse's action, I can't be friends with you. It's just got the best loping stayers action. Like, look how economical it looks at the end of a fast run. This is a horse having its fourth start in a race, second preparation, fast run 2,500 metres. If it's not a good horse, you know, hopefully this preparation hasn't gutted it. I don't think it will have, but I just hope we get to see the best of this horse because she's very exciting. Great ride.
And the Pearls on the outside, the two favourites joining in now. And at the 300 metres, it's Get a Good Feeling.
And I was just sort of saying, look, After Summer's had to pick itself up off the canvas, giving away all the momentum and everything to these on-pace horses after sitting closer to the fast speed and gets to the line really well. So, yeah, obviously this horse went okay too, Classic Gem, but to me, it's a lot more pace assisted and a little bit more flattered by the way everything went than this horse. But I think this horse will stay. So, you know, sort of Caulfield Cups, you know, we're a long way from that, but Caulfield Cup's Oaks is next year around. I think it's an interesting horse. It doesn't happen often enough, David, and it was definitely the one of the carnival where you look back and went, how did I not just keep betting on this horse when it got back out to like $12, not far from the start of the race. It just made no sense that this horse was at that price. It was the only horse with significant upside in the race. The favourite was always a ridiculously short price. So, it was the one of the carnival that that it just, it was a bit of a missed opportunity for me anyway. The last was a bit of we'll watch it because it was devil's advocate. I know I'm biased because I hate horses with Equicast on. But to me, Equicast, horses, if they've got feed issues, certain things happen, like they just don't race as well as they can. And it can sort of show up in different ways to me. And I think it showed up with Ray here when he sort of lost touch a little bit mid-race. I just don't, when things are wrong with horses. And I don't feel that he was a certainty beaten, to be honest.
Beautiful line two, Manolo Bling.
Everyone's got their own opinion. I thought he levelled out late, and I don't think he was as good a thing, but I didn't think the meltdown was as justified as others. Again, just my opinion. They go quite slow. See where he gets detached here? That's what I don't like. They're not going fast, and it's not as if the rider's restraining. He's actually trying to urge him along, and he gets detached. So to me, that can be a sign of a horse with feet problems, or not completely comfortable, not stretching out like they can. And he does run some really fast sections still, so it's not as if he's performed badly. He's run the third fastest last 600 of the day. The Stewards footage is interesting here. I wonder if we can pick that up, but he actually doesn't lose that much momentum by changing direction. Obviously, it's not ideal, but right here, he's not closing on the leaders at all for mine. His run's completely ended the last 200 metres for mine.
Who was coming through horse Stokey Stokey in front of Major Share Ray Magnario. Stokey holds on.
But yeah, I'm not saying he was a moral beat. Let's just put it that way. Even though he's run very well, I think it's sort of more to do with. Can we get the stewards footage? Not that anyone really cares. Stewards report, no. Results, sectionals, news and video. Where's the stewards footage? There it is, you clown. Stewards vision not available. I swear I saw a head on, but anyway. Not today. Equicast on the horse is like a hoof filler. It's usually used to sort of help mould the foot to either be able to get nails into the shoes, or whether, it can be a million different reasons why they use it, but to me it's never a good thing. All right, Sydney, what have we got left? Sydney, and then some Saturday. I think Saturday's not too exciting. All right, Sydney Tuesday. Sydney Thursday. Sydney Thursday? Sydney Tuesday. Sydney Tuesday. Gringotts Vivier. Oh, that's what I wanted to show. This was actually the highlight of the carnival. The highlight of the Sydney carnival. Is that what we're calling it? Carnival? Tuesday the 4th. May the 4th be with you. What race are we looking at? Race 5. Old Nash. Here he is. So winners in the Aussie Q colours, Headley Grange, who must be over the top. And, you know, if he was probably at his peak, he would have held the horse, given a little bit more opposition. But Nash's ride here is incredible. They go out very sort of even time here, do they? Just checking that there's no update. Yeah, it's very sort of even tempo the whole way. Actually was given a great ride, Headley Grange, every chance, probably just had enough going for a spell, I'd say. Ruby Flyer was good, just a nightmare of a horse. Tavi Time was a complete disaster. We might see that. Lord Biscay was a little bit held up, but it's a suck horse. Methuselah's going very well to be stepped up. Just Ideal was held up and good. And Vivier sort of had to change and was solid. Was it hard? I actually thought Vivier was the horse to follow out of this race.
Between runners, Crystal.
Jokingly, but so sorry. Hang on. This is Gringotts here in the middle. So Headley Grange is dead set in this run. And Nash says, no, Hippo. No, Hippo. Bang. Pushes him back and takes his run. So, you know, he had the horse under him. He's a big, strong bugger. And poor old Headley Grange just got spat out. But Nash wasn't taking any prisoners. Hippo outrode him for sure. Got to the hole, and Nash just said no.
Look at the 300 and narrow leader from Crystal Clear. Headley Grange has got a little gap to squeeze through.
See you later. Put him back in behind Lou, and off he went.
He's pushing through.
And Just a Deal. What are coming out of that Coonabarra Brand race? Isn't it been the strongest Coonabarra Brand race in the history of mankind? Yeah, Tavi Time was a disaster. And what was that race worth? $3 million. Okay then. Agree, Mr. Virgin. That's embarrassing, isn't it? It's embarrassing. It just shouldn't be worth that much. It doesn't make any sense that you have a race where you've got 115 Raider up against, you know, 70 whatever Raiders, 72 Raiders, 68 Raider in Louis' Legacy. The whole conditions of the race, the way everything, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Not for $3 million. It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, they've just got to revamp the whole system. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. So Your Pence was dominant in race 6. I thought it was, but it was just a bit of a nothing race. Mr. Mania fine, Ticklebelly fine, Gallant Star fine, Chidiac Trainwreck. How's It Kev is the horse I actually thought was good for a much easier race. I think How's It Kev's flying. So if How's It Kev drops back to an easier assignment, I think it's ready to win. It's out of race 6. Race 7, which was the Little Dance. Horrifically slowly run race, and where they absolutely stuffed up the leaders was slowing down. They went from 5 lengths below at the 800 metres mark to 10 lengths below at the 600 metres. So they've just anchor dropped and allowed the back markers to come into it, which has allowed Osipenko to get over the top of them late. Anything goes every chance. Tavros, fastest last 200 of the meeting. Country horse, you know, obviously off the back of a ridiculously slow speed. But again, $750,000. Why? Just crazy. Crazy these horses are running for that much money. It's just crazy. It's a $140,000 field. Crazy. Where? I wanted to find Osipenko is very similar to Arctic Glamour. I went back to its last couple of starts and just wanted to see signs of life. And its last start, it just did nothing. I think it trialled too, and it went ordinary in the trial, hard fit. So, you know, once it had a huge class edge on those runners, but just wanted to see something, and I couldn't find it. Saturday just gone at Flemington. Calamari Rings race, I'll just talk about it. So this was very hard for me to line these up because the heavy headwind and the rain during the day are just a nightmare. So like off track speed, it looks like the straight was very slow, like an 11 on times, and the circle was somewhere between an 8 and a 10 sort of by the end of the day. So it got slower. There was that mad headwind, so the sectionals are diabolical. It looks like they've gone a lot faster than they have in a lot of races. Need Some Lux race was quite controlled and looks like it was a bit of a sit sprint. I'm dirty with myself not backing it. I've been waiting for that horse to get down the straight for so long. Absolutely filthy with myself I was after that. Sunset Park looks like it's controlled the race and won. Whiskey on the Hills. That race is a very fast run race, was quite a strong win. Giga Kick, like just trying to dissect, even though it looks like a fast tempo, it looks a very controlled speed. We'll watch the Giga Kick, we'll watch these races. I just think it's a bit of a non-event. I don't think this form means anything. Sabaj was awesome, off the back of a very fast speed. But they ran fast time. So Sabaj was awesome. I reckon Sabaj needs 3 to 4 weeks off that. I think that effort would kill a brown dog. So I'd be very wary of backing Sabaj again this prep, but it's obviously if it was mine, I'd be tipping it straight out and trying to set it for a Doncaster. There's no way in the world I'd be like Sabaj. That was only second up. Unless there's some sort of crazy prize money race in 3 weeks, I'd be tipping it straight out Sabaj and setting it for a Doncaster.
First of the Group 1s, the field is set, ready, and they're racing. And beginning well was Tropicus in the centre of the line.
Where are my hopes and dreams? They're back behind somewhere here. Whereas Tentyrus is back there.
Also the outside, Jetabil showing some speed. Benedetta's about 2 lengths off those early. Flying for fun.
Another happy moment here where you cop the Magic Time. I was on for my balls too. I'll have a look, David.
The inside to sit a couple of lengths off the leader. So the leader is Tropicus with a bit of an arrowhead up the middle of the field, leading by 2.
The old betting up on the quaddie here with Tentyrus and then copying the Jolly Star. That was probably another one of the highlights of the carnival for me here.
2 in second place, Jolly Star flying for fun, Jetabil.
I don't think there's any worse thing than that when you hate a horse with a passion and you cop it as a substitute.
Is Magic Time with Benedetta at the tail of the field, and gradually the entire field coming up towards the outside.
So the problem here with this race, as I said, I think it's a no race. Very controlled speed. A lot of the horses just fail. Wet trackers come to the fore. Time's nothing special. Horses like Flying to Fun, Libertad, they're not bad horses, but they aren't beaten far. I'm treating this as a wash. Like you just say, oh, well, they handle the wet. That's about it. Absolutely sickening. I wish Giga Kick got held up for another couple of strides there. Magic Time dead set. How home was it? Just to see, it was $17. Obviously, Tentyrus came out late, but it was $17 with, an hour before the race or something. It was just crazy, the price on Magic Time. Made no sense. Giga Kick comes back and wins. It was a big price too, $5.50 or whatever. I don't know what it SP'd after. I should know. It still SP'd $4. It was just Jolly Star $2.40 is just the laughable thing of the century. I reckon Pericles will watch it and say, I reckon he just went too early on it. Easy to say. And I was talking about before, splitting hairs, but I think he went too early on it. Hello? Hello? What the? See, this is my favourite. Look, you got to go October, then you go December, and then you got to go back to November. It's like an IQ test, and I don't have a strong IQ. What have I done here? I've blown it up. This is weird. Yeah, you went too early on it. It's only got a short sprint. I agree. It does have a bit of cat in it. There's no doubt about that. Why can't I get this to load? No.
This historic town has the deep.
Shut up. Here we go. We're back.
Starter has the button in hand, and they're.
That's not the right race, you imbecile. It's just the mile race that won't load. Isn't that weird?
Ready to.
Weirdest thing ever. I'll have to do this.
They're ready. Holds them.
This is Jenny 2.0. Jenny doesn't make the turn, Jenny. Why did he go so early on Treasure of the Moment? They're just trying to kill this horse.
Right there, Mr. Brightside looking to get across.
Yeah, he jams it out of the gates, Treasure of the Moment, then he takes off before acceptances. Her effort was great. I just hope they haven't killed her. Steffi Magnetica was all right. Mr. Brightside, poor thing, was just completely cast. Jenny was gone at the 800 metre mark. They go quick. Again, very hard to work out how quick they went, but they came home. They came home the slowest of the day here.
So it's Pride of Jenny, 4 lengths, Treasure of the Moment, a similar gap corner at the 600 metres. Pride of Jenny stuck to the fence, Treasure of the Moment, Lane brings her.
So the only, the ones that just sort of waited for him to come back were the ones that did the best job. So I think the best rides were definitely Wolf and Pericles of the, the others just went way too early.
From Wolf, Steffi Magnetica, and back behind them, Pericles. Pride of Jenny hard up against the fence.
So the difference being, and why I say he went too early, every other horse is not travelling off the bit, and he's still on the bit. So he doesn't need to go for the horse, in my opinion. I'm not a jockey. I've got red hair. But I just feel like, if you know the horse, he could cuddle it. Like he could still keep cuddling it. He doesn't need to put the horse under full pressure. But in saying that, if the horse was genuine, it's a very good effort. It's got beat a nose, but I think if he had kept him sort of travelling through the ground for that extra 100 metres or so, he probably would have won, but whatever. It definitely had its chance. And again, this form, I don't think means a lot. I don't think these horses will race again this prep, will they? We won't see them again to the autumn. Poor old Mr. Brightside. She's gone huge, Treasure of the Moment, and I don't think she's at a top. I think it was a very steady ride for a horse that needs to, it'd be interesting where she ends up in the autumn, because she's the one to me that could come back and be dominant, but maybe doesn't run out 2,000 metres plus. Yeah, but if he holds him together, he doesn't lay in. That's my thing. Only once he started to sort of really get after him did he start to lay in and have a good think about it. This is the last race we'll have a look at. So this is via Sistina. They walk here. So all of the sections were really quick around the circle, except for this one. So the Matriarch was fairly well controlled, but this went like 5 lengths below to the 800, 3 lengths below to the 600 metre mark. So they absolutely walk. They don't come home that quick, but they come home decently in comparison to any other race, except for the Matriarch, which is Sunset Park, who's obviously sit sprint as well. So she's done a good job to round them up. She's obviously run some really fast sections for the day. Third fastest last 800, fourth fastest last 600 of the day, fastest between the 8-2 and 6 and the 2. So she's definitely let down. I don't think she's anywhere near her best. Whoops. but just a non-event. Just these stupid, horrible, slowly run nothing races. Look at this bunch of crap. So boring. Poor old light infantryman actually went okay. It just missed the start, and that killed its chances. What do you do with this horse? Zambardo. I don't know what you do with this horse. It's definitely got some good ability, but this race is a nothing race. This is a no race. Tom Kitten, all the sit sprint, nothing race, and it's probably going to end up with a crazy rating. I would have much rather run it through its grades personally, but it did win 540,000 for running second here, so it's hard to argue. You know, it's a glass half full situation, isn't it? I'll have one more whinge about this horse, and I wouldn't have her in my top 10 of horses since I've been watching racing. She's a very, very good horse, but to me, she's more like Animo. She's a horse that's been very well placed. She's got one run in her life in the Cox Plate where she went 10 lengths better than she's ever gone in any other race, where she's a true champion. And all the other wins are good, but, you know, very well placed. Got home and had, you know, a lot go her way a lot of the time too. I'm a huge fan of the horse. I think she's a very, very good horse, but I don't think she's a champion in comparison to some others that we've seen.
Golden Path. Next, Tom Kitten. Via Sistina is just starting to get closer with Light Infantryman. They're not that far.
I think a lot of people, didn't it start second favourite, Panto? I thought it started well in the betting, didn't it? Started $5. Started second favourite. Yeah, it ran all right. But I don't think he's anywhere near as good as... I don't think he's at his best either. You know, Zambardo's the interesting one. Will that be the end of its career or the start of its career? That's probably the question. It's hard to knock the horse. It's done nothing wrong, and it's run well here and beat off some pretty good horses in Pierre and Tom Kitten. Would have been hard to beat in a benchmark 84. Just need to go to Sydney and find some benchmark 65s for $500,000 and chip your way that way. I can't physically review any more races. I reckon I do sheets, and I think I did near 100 sheets last week. Yeah, he's a very good horse. 8 starts, as you said, all those things. He was well set up to run okay. He definitely wasn't well set up to like peak there. So, you know, he's done a good job. There's no fluke to anything about the horse. It's just how strong is that race, especially off such a slow tempo with no merit in the back half of it. Well, not no merit. It's so the other horse, the Cantala was the one with no merit, but that race had such a sit sprint feel about it. It's just hard to know the truth. Zipping was a lot better horse than Tom Melbourne. Zipping was a bloody good horse. He won the race like 3 times, didn't he? That Sandown, whatever it was called. He was no champion, but he was a Group 1 horse. This was not a dominant Group 1 horse. Races coming up this week. Did anyone see anything too exciting? What was the race you wanted to look at? Eagle Farm? Sorry, I'm trying to find it. You look at Tuesday, race 6, Eagle Farm, Chuki 12. Hang on, I'll just look at it here. But it got beat by Ichiban on protest.
Away from home. Then last Butterfly wears this Gulf of Town below the 200 metres. Vermeer Land on the outside. Tukey 12 might have it. Tukey 12 reached the lead. Trying to break clear. 50 to go. Ichiban from the back is zooming home. Tukey 12 in front. And Tukey 12, I think, just beat Ichiban.
Where's the He looks stiff. What race is it? Race 6. Was there different replays or something? So where's the interference? So it's this horse here, and this is the thing that's at 5 wide the whole way. What, for that? It lost the race for that. That's not possible. Is there a head on? So, hang on, the winners come from here, circled the field, and lost the race for that?
At that point, but she rallied well to win, giving Chris and Corey the bunch field only and Celebrate.
So this is it here. It's circled the field. This is the winner. Eventually.
12 Bradley falling. Celebrate wide runs out outside. Celebrate on game down below the 200 metres. Vermeer Land on the outside. Tukey 12 might have it. Tukey 12 reached the lead. Trying to break clear. 50 to go. Itchy Barn from the back is zooming home. Tukey 12 in front and Tukey 12. I think just
that's one of the worst I've ever seen.
Dive from Vermeer, Spell the Secret, Sir Labarack. Then came Legend of Kings, Empire of Art. Never got into the race. Gulf of Tamini and trailing them home.
Oh, I'd be on suicide watch. Metaphorically. That's as bad as it gets. Futures, great race this CF4. Assuming Jimmy Star lines up against Angel Capital. Jeez. He was so good in whatever that race is called, the next race after the Everest. And Angel Capital was excellent in the Everest, but Jimmy Star was just as good. I can't argue with the betting there. I think that has to be about right. It's had the extra run under its belt, whether that's emptied it or not or helped it. Angel Capital's got to come in here fresh. Laughable that these horses are that close. Like, it's literally a 2-horse race. Doesn't matter what happens, I would imagine. That's as bad as I've seen, Daniel. That was horrific. Yeah, hopefully those 2 horses line up because, yeah, that'd be great to see those 2 horses go head to head. Sandown Guineas, I didn't think there was any gaps here. Burma Star, I see it's in Sydney as well. Cheese and Alibi, whatever, $2.30. It looks very hard to beat, but there's not much else there. Is this horse Sulek? Is that the horse we saw a bit unlucky? It was the one back towards the inside that was held up in that race. Still don't think it was the strongest race in the world. I think She's an Alibi looks a nice horse with a lot of upside. Not take $2.30. How now? There was something. Oh, this horse looks very well. This looks its race, but again, $4.80 probably about right. I didn't think there was anything too exciting here over 1,200 metres. That would, I thought it, looked I didn't think She's Bulletproof flying. Yeah, I think we saw it in a replay in that Burma Star race. Evaporator win a race if it's put in the right race. Just been put in some hard races. Went huge in the Toorak, and that form's been strong. It was probably better off going to Sydney and racing for that big money than Well, there's just so many different options at the moment, isn't there? Christ, it went well in the Coolmore. So this is an interesting race because half of these horses are there that we are just talking about. So that's why I wanted to watch that replay so closely. Like, Surf's Up, very dangerous. Trey Magnique, very dangerous. Invincible Woman, very dangerous. Who else was in that race? They're the only ones nominated. And it's a sort of run, like a really slowly run race where they've only sprinted home, where horses backing up out of that race could run extremely well here. So, you know, yeah, I don't know what's going to show up in the race, but I would be taking all three of those horses very seriously if they run. My Gladiola's obviously the horse to beat, was excellent in the Coolmore. In Karuna was fine in that race the other day, whether it backs up or not. Cantiamo, these horses are up on speed, had their chances, whereas these horses that were back and didn't. I definitely think that's a silly price if it runs. And definitely these are sort of 20, 30 to 1 big prices. Now, I think In Karuna had its chance the other day. I'd much rather back the other three. If it just all depends on. I don't want to back them now because I don't know if they're going to go there. But if I think they're going to be dangerous in the race itself. Unless you know My Gladiola's not going there, and those ones are. Different story. No, the Sydney races, they just look very average. The Hunter, nothing. The Beaufort, what is this? I don't even know what this is. Mason Louis Dead Set got beat 400 metres the other day, and it's favourite. Never seen a horse go worse. The 2-year-old looks okay. I just haven't had a chance to go through it, and this race looks terrible. The beaten up horses. These Burma Star, Pictor that came out of that race. Grand Prairie, who's a 7th run back or something, like really beaten up 3-year-old Spring Stakes. Nothing I could find there. That was about it. Keen to see Yorkshire run in the Hunter. Yeah, it's first up though, isn't it? Legacy Bound's a very, very good horse. Can't wait to see it get to 1,400 metres. You know, all in all, it's been like a really good spring. I know I'm a bitchy person about quality and stuff, and saying that horses like Biostein's not its best, and our weight for age races have been pretty boring, but the contests have been great. The racing's been great. And we've got some 3-year-olds that look like they're actually got some upside, like Tentaris, and that Coolmore was great. That Phillies race, awesome. I think we've got some decent horses coming through. Obviously, Sir Delius, but, you know, he was in some really slowly run races. It was a big shame not to see Sir Delius go around more. It was probably the biggest loss of the carnival. Half yours was excellent. You know, most of the racing was awesome. Cold Crusher was huge last start. I probably just want to wait to see that field, Daniel. Very dangerous, and usually that track can be a bit leaderish too. For this race, they look after the fence pretty well, so you know, if it's firm and fast, Cold Crusher will run well. Happy to has said wait and see the field, but anything else before I run away? If you ever want to test yourself in life, do Ladbrokes Pots, host Ladbrokes Pots on Sundays. It took me as much time to do the form for 6 races or 7 races at Armadale and 6 or 7 races at wherever the other place was, Warren, as it did to do 20 races for with whatever they were, like 200 acceptors for Flemington and Randwick. Oh my God, nearly killed me. Nearly killed me. And then Paul bloody reminded me of Jake Pracey Holmes giving up the lead on Sorrento Place to wreck our hopes and dreams. But anyway, cheers, guys. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, if you have any more questions or anything, just send them through to me. If you've ever got race you want me to look at or anything, just send them through. I'm a sicko, so happy to look at anything. And yeah, I'll see you later in the week. Yeah, again, I can't wait to see Tentaris get to 1,400. Who's to say he won't be a nightmare of a horse? Cheers, David. Yeah, it was interesting. I hadn't seen that. That was disgusting. I feel terrible for you. Cheers, guys. Catch you next time.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.